Welcome back, everyone. Right, let's do some drawing. So, someone said they would like to see one of the characters from our D&D campaign. This is Titus. He's an NPC, but he's a dwarf that has entertained us no ends. So I thought he'd get a little bit of the spotlight today. I've also done the pencil work before, so it didn't use up too much of the time. I'm also using the 0.05 today because I think it will probably be a little bit easier to draw and not lose as much detail as the one from the last drawing did. Well, I thought it did anyway. I'm not actually sure if it did or not, but it felt like it did. So this one I'm going to do a little bit more precise when I'm drawing. And we'll see if I get to the point of wanting to have a little bit more wildness going on, or add a bit more sketchiness. But we'll see how we do. So how's everyone's day been? It's a little bit less hot today, but I've still decided to keep the window open for this one, so we'll see how that is. There is a little bit of noise outside, but hopefully it's not too distracting. Oh, I don't know why he looks angry. He's got like a little bandana here. I wasn't meant to look angry, but hopefully it doesn't. So has anyone been up to anything exciting and weird? Some people get up to such weird stuff daily. I think it's brilliant. I'm quite a mundane human, but big fan of the weird. So he's got his little goggles on. He might be doing some welding or something. We'll do a little line, and maybe do a second line there. And that's the leather goggle. His hair coming down. I mean, I did have his ears originally, but I think it'll be a little bit different if his hair's kind of growing over the sides and he's a little bit less kept than other dwarf, because you know he spends all his days tinkering with weapons and different machines and what have you. Originally I was going to draw the time where he took a potion that made him turn into a big balloon, which was pretty funny. Not helpful whatsoever, because this is one of the NPCs that have helped us massively in the past, kind of do bosses and things of that nature, because our team, as wonderful as they are, we are a little bit skew-whiff when it comes to actually a good tactic. We tend to do some funny things rather than trying to do the most optimal thing. So if you play a little bit of D&D or Pathfinder, let me know what character you're playing. And if you're playing a homebrew, hit me up. I love a good homebrew. Alright. Cool. A little bit of hair coming off the side of that. And shirt coming around here. Yeah, it's not going to be like ripped or torn or anything. It's just it's going to be well worn, you know. Maybe a little bit of grease there. Continue on his beard. I mean, he's kind of a well-kept one, even though he's a little bit grubby. You know, he's got a nice little plait. You know, he probably smells pretty good. You know, that kind of greasy, oily smell. I don't know about you, but I kind of like the smell of that stuff. Alright. How we doing? Oh, we're doing alright. The other part of his balaclava. Balaclava? No, bandana. I don't think he actually has a top knot. in our campaign, but by gosh, I wanted a top knot on this dwarf, so that's what he's got going on today. Actually, this pen is kind of running out. It's a little bit scratchy. Not sure if I should jump ship now. I've only got the 1005. I've got loads of 003s. Yeah, let's see what we can do. I'll jump ship and see how we do. Hopefully it's not too big of a difference. There's a little bit, but I think we can just about get away with that. I think if I do more solid lines, then I might be able to get away. There we go, that's not too bad. Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Nice. A few more lines there. A few like little age lines. The shirt on this side. That wasn't a very good line. That should be connected there, not a little line, but it doesn't matter. And his stomach sort of hanging over. Maybe he's had a big lunch. You know, he's a proper dwarf. And do a nice big button. And even the buttons are kind of tense, you know. Got these lines that they're kind of saying, "Help me." Alright, so I'm gonna put one there as well. You know, it's a very big lunch. A little bit of a belt. Definitely wearing his Levi's. Do another line in a second. Little buckle. A little bit of shine on the buckle. And just the tiniest bit on the end sticking out. Should be a bit bigger. Alright, and then we've got some bags and stuff. We'll come back to that. In the meantime, let's do some stocky dwarven. And there we go. You know, and he's not going to have lots of veins and definition, you know, because he likes a nail, you know. He's not a big fan of green food either. Yeah, nice. And then plenty of hair. We won't be shy with the hair on this one, even though sometimes I feel like hair can kind of throw off the image a little bit. We'll throw some there, we'll throw a few more lines, you know, a few more lines on his hands. They're well worn, you know. I imagine he's had a bit of a tough time. There we are. Yeah. I think we've got that patch just there of no hair on their wrist. If you look down, a little patch right there. I do. Just wonder if anyone else does. And we have a couple of hairs sticking the wrong way. There we go. And we'll start doing the table. You know, little ribbon hanging out there. You know, and we'll draw a little nail. Do like a nail stick there. Boop. Be like an old butcher's block, I reckon, in my head. And you can't really see, but be a leg down there. Oh, just put the leg there. You know, it's not quite accurate, but that'll be fine. And got a little piece of paper here, you know, kind of like old blueprint plan, and wrap around, and then the rest of the paper going that way. A little bit of a crease. I can't imagine where he's working. Maybe like, you know, near a forge or something. I imagine it'll be hot where he is, but maybe that's just me because I'm feeling a bit warm today. Nice campaign though. You know, it's not super hot, but it's not super cold either. Oh, what am I on about? It is hot. Right, so we're going to do some blueprints and plans. No idea what the plans are, just thought that'd be kind of cool if we had some plans and have some of this chicken scratching writing to look like, look, got lots of information written down. You know, I don't know if he's done these notes himself or, you know, maybe his friend Bill and Margaret, maybe they wrote it for him. You know, there we go. And, you know, a bit of dirt on the other side because, you know, it's not a particularly clean table. We'll just do some little scratches on the table here and there. There we go. I think we're good to just sort of, yeah, that'll be fine. Maybe some breadcrumbs. Yeah. He's a busy dude, but he's got to eat, you know. Right, this hand is a little bit, I'm not really sure what's going on here. A little bit messy, but maybe he's like holding, you know, it kind of looks like he's holding straps or something. Maybe he's holding straps of leather rather than actually wearing a glove. Got a belt here, but I kind of like the idea of him wearing straps of leather. Maybe he hurt his wrist and he didn't have a bandage, so just use whatever he had on him. There we go, cool. It's kind of hard to like show leather in a black and white image without really working on it, I find. And his other finger's there. There we go. And he'll be scratching his belly, look at that. He's got a good itch on that, you know. Got a real itch going on. There's his thumb. Nice. Nice, there we go. And my friend's playing, he's the what I call him Dungeon Daddy, which makes everyone feel a little bit uncomfortable. But he's playing this character, and honestly, it's very funny. Incredibly helpful sometimes, and then I think it's even better when he's incredibly unhelpful, you know. Alright. He's got a little bag on him. It's kind of like a strappy bag, not so much leather, but that doesn't make sense since I've just drawn a belt. Cool. And then some shirt tension. You know, the shirt may be a little bit small for Titus, you know. That's okay. And again, lots of hair. Lots of forearm hair like this. Nice. And again, not putting any extra definition or any lines. Throw some hairs over the top of the shirt. Come back on ourselves a little bit here. Because he's not defined, you know, he's a proper dwarf, man. Put a little line there though, because I felt like it needed something. A bit more marks on his shirt. Maybe there, maybe there. Maybe even a little mark on him, you know, a little bit of dirt. Okay. And then another thing, he's the kind of guy that would hit the gym though. Just probably naturally a big dude, you know. Big family meals. Lots of meat. I imagine that's what dwarves eat a lot of. Or pasta. Maybe it's pasta, I don't know. And then some generic sort of fiddly tools. I don't really know what the plan is. I'm just kind of just drawing shapes at this moment. Right. And then Got like a weird little utensil thing here. I don't know what that is, but maybe a file or something. And then the bottom of that is sort of like a weird wrench thing. Put that across. Yeah, that would do. Yeah, that'll do. And then another one maybe. I don't know what that is, but it will serve its purpose, I'm sure. Little bag. Little chain piece hanging off there. There we go. Little cork. That's where he puts his mead. After a long day of adventuring, making potions that affect us in all terribly negative ways. Yeah, nice. Cool, what are we doing? Okay, let's speed up and sort of finish this off. Couple of little buttons on his trousers. And then his pocket. Got a little chain. And we'll finish it because it's getting very close to the edge of the paper, and very aware sometimes I go to the edge of the paper and then I do something weird, like pull against it or something, and it goes all naff. Bag on its back. And there's a little cannon. I forgot what he calls it now actually, but there's this little trigger. Yeah, some little rubber grips. There we go. Excellent. Just a little simple wraparound thingy. Just saying it's in place. Mechanically, I don't understand how that would work. Maybe it's Velcro. Yeah, maybe he's got Velcro on it. And his cannons, seen many a day. It's even got the hole there, and then a little bit of shine. There we go. Yeah, I don't think it needs any more detail than that. I don't want to take anything away from this. So yeah, we kind of got away with it, and we just wrote Titus. Cool. Now we have it. Little dwarf. Working on a couple of little plans for his next adventure. Scratching his tummy. A few tools. Some mead. Some sort of cannon. And a fairly handsome chap with a top knot. There we have it. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you're staying cool. Hope you're having a good day. Apologies for the noise outside the window. Got really loud then. Anyway, you take care. Bye.